We want to welcome you to this presentation of FG Express. Today we're going to hear from Dr. Adam Saucedo. Dr. Saucedo is a research MD and is specialized in the role of nutrition and nutritional supplements for human health. This presentation is for education purposes only, and there is no suggestion of diagnosis or treatment. As always, see your physician for specific medical advice. We're thrilled to introduce Power Strips, developed by Dr. Min-Soo Kim at the world-renowned Future Engineering Technology Institute, Korea University. Dr. Kim states, this patented technology is designed to activate all surrounding cells of the human body for energy and relief. So the question is, who do you know that needs more energy, mental clarity, detoxification, improved sexual function, relief from aches and pains? With no pills, no shots, that'll break through wearable strip where cutting-edge waveform energy meets ancient herbs. Let's hear from Dr. Adam Saucedo.
And I think it would be safe to say, Dr. Saucedo, that what we have in our hands is a product that pretty much everybody should be using, because this is not just a pain relief product, it is a product for human health. So if you would, let's jump right in. And our major ingredient, or one of the major ingredients in the product, is ginseng. And probably everybody's heard of ginseng, but if you're like me, you probably, I'm always looking for what's the new thing, and yet here's a herb that's been used for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, has great scientific documentation. So if you would, let's start with at that point. If let's say somebody has no pain at all, why would they want to wear this, and what is the role of the ginseng in the product?
Yeah, I'd be glad to talk about that, Kevin. It is interesting because Korean red ginseng is one of the more well-documented nutritional supplements or ingredients, plants, that I've looked at over the past 8 years or so. There are effects that range from, as you mentioned, mental clarity, or another way to put it is intellectual work. There's good evidence that taking red ginseng on a regular basis and using it over time, that there is an increase in mental clarity, in intellectual work, in accomplishment of thinking processes. So it's more than just mental clarity. They've identified specific functions of the brain that are tuned in when Korean red ginseng is used on a regular basis. So mental faculty, mental clarity is just the beginning. There are other things that it does. There's good evidence in the literature that it has anti-diabetic effects. And it's explained that the cells that metabolize sugar in the blood are actually able to handle sugar in a more efficient way. That's one of the problems in diabetes, is you get resistance to the uptake of sugar. Cells are less reactive. In the case of using red ginseng on a regular basis and using it over time in your life, those cells function better. They handle sugar better, or glucose specifically in the blood. There's evidence that there's improved sexual function, and that's not just in men, but it's both in women. Men have improved erection quality. Women have improved climateric processes. So men and women both feel benefits from that perspective. There are anti-stress effects. The list of advantages, the list of helpful effects that regular use of Korean red ginseng has in the body are extensive, and they're well documented.
Well, I've watched your videos, and thank you so much for taking the time to produce those. They're short, very informative, and one of the things that really jumped out at me, at least, is the role of silver in the product. And when I was watching the video, one of the things that really struck me is that the antimicrobial benefits of silver, I kind of pictured that I've got this watchdog, if you will, inside the patch. The watchdog, as in meaning in the silver, goes out there and just chases them away. And I had mentioned on a recent call that a couple weeks ago I woke up with a just nasty sore throat, hurt to swallow. I thought, let me try this. I put the patch on just below my collarbone on my chest. No, I did not put it on my throat. Put it on my chest. And literally in 10 minutes, that sore throat had disappeared. And I'm thinking, why would I not want to wear one of these every single day? So tell us about the silver and what that's all about.
I'd be glad to. Silver is an interesting topic. It's also a very timely and important topic to human health. Silver is, as you mentioned, it's an anti-infective, it's an antimicrobial. That's great imagery that you talk about when you mention a watchdog out there in your system waiting for infection, because that's what's going on, really. The silver is in your system. It functions by way of random kinetics. And all it means is that you introduce silver into your system, and it disperses evenly everywhere, and it's moving around randomly. But as it does so, it encounters the surfaces of millions, if not billions, of proteins. And when it strikes a particular protein, such as the protein of an infected bacteria, and silver's effective against 200 species of bacteria, but it does more. Say it encounters a protein that belongs to an infective fungus. It attacks that and neutralizes it. If it encounters protein on a virus, the same thing. Even protozoal species. So it's able to very effectively range through the body like a watchdog, if you will, and be available to work as an antimicrobial and anti-infective against hundreds of species of bacteria, viruses, fungi, and others. And the interesting thing, one of the very interesting things about silver is that we're in a crisis right now as physicians, as practitioners for health. We have in our armamentarium of antimicrobials, our antibiotics, if you will, we have hundreds of choices, but the problem is that every day that armamentarium gets less and less powerful. What I mean by that is that the bacteria in the viruses that these antimicrobials are designed to fight become resistant to those medications. They are less effective, and so what happens is they're less effective against the infection. The infection takes greater hold, and we have trouble fighting it because resistance builds up. The really interesting thing here is that silver, even though it's been around for hundreds of years, there is no evidence that that is the case with silver. There's been no resistance shown. There's been no evidence that these infective species are mutating or selecting against silver. So silver is as strong as it ever was as an antimicrobial, and I think it will become more important in that area, in that function, as time goes on.
So, Dr. Sato, we speak about there's a mineral combination in a power strip. What is the role of those minerals? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
There's a lot of talk about the minerals. There's a lot of talk about the delivery system that's being used here. You talked about it in the beginning. It was likened by you to an IV infusion. The one difference, important difference, is that transdermal patches, like the power strip that we're using, are actually much better at delivering safe, controllable doses of nutrients in IV or any form, pill, capsule. This is the most effective and controllable way to deliver nutrition to the body, bar none. But to step back and address your question, the mineral bath that's described in some of the print literature that's available, they function primarily as part of the delivery system. Now again, this delivery system is unique. We talk about it being gentle to the skin and water soluble. That's great. But again, the most important thing is that it delivers carefully and as long as you wear it during a 48-hour period, a supply of each of these supplements that we talk about. But what are the ions doing? The ions are permeating the skin. They are preparing the skin for the transfer of the content of the delivery system. So the adhesive is saturated with the Korean red ginseng. It's saturated with the silver components that are going to be used. The adhesive delivery system is saturated with the alpha-3-CMP marine phytoplankton that's so thoughtfully engineered into this. Well, all of those components that are sitting there waiting to be delivered, they're able to be delivered because the skin is prepared for them. And what prepares the skin for them? It's those ions. Those ions enter the skin, and they prepare the skin to receive these nutritional supplements, essentially. So they function as a bridge.
This is the best way to get nutrients into the body. And I read when I first was introduced to the product, started reading about saponins and the fact that they can get broken down in the stomach when you're taking ginseng internally and destroyed by the stomach acids. But yet here we have this, as you said, this bridge that just allows them to go straight into the bloodstream. Is that a fairly accurate statement?
It is. Ions, by definition, are species that are charged. And what that means is that they either have an extra electron or they lack an electron. They either have a positive charge or a negative charge. And what this provides for is retractive and repulsive effects, essentially. So you imagine trying to bring nutrients through the skin. Many diffuse, crossed by a simple diffusion. The skin is softened, moistened, prepared, but also the ions are penetrating through the skin and creating a gradient. And some of these nutrients that are charged themselves are actually teased through the skin through electromagnetic or through positive and negative attractive forces.
So, last but not least, we have this term that I was unfamiliar with called germanium, an element, and as I've read about it and listened to your videos on it, it is literally, if you will, the transporter of far infrared energy. Could you take that one and explain the role of germanium and far infrared?
Yeah, I'll be happy to. And in the past couple of weeks, I've received communication from the field and from others. There's a lot of questions about germanium, and there's even concern that maybe it's doing something it shouldn't be doing in the body, that it may be setting us up for negative effects. But let me tell you, I'm here to tell you that there are no negative effects. There's no toxic effects. The simple fact is that when people hear germanium, they think that it's being delivered to the body. It's not. In this case, we're using germanium not as a nutritional. The germanium goes nowhere. It is embedded behind the delivery system. It never is part of the delivery system. It never gets in the body. It does one thing. The germanium sits back there, and as you said, it's this element. And germanium, like other elements, have optical qualities. And one of the very interesting optical qualities that germanium has is that germanium is capable of taking a broad electromagnetic spectrum of energy, such as that coming off our bodies. We know, science is known for a long time, that our bodies give off this broad electromagnetic spectrum of energy. We're constantly giving off energy. The most common of which is heat. You can actually see it. We can feel it when we touch a human body. But there are other spectrums. So this energy is coming off the body. And when you put a patch down, say you put a patch down over an injured muscle, well, the tissue, the body below that patch, the portion of your body below that injury is giving off this broad electromagnetic spectrum of energy, and it's rising off the body. But because the patch is there, and embedded deep in the patch are these particles of germanium, and the germanium, again, because of optical qualities, takes this broad spectrum, it refocuses and reflects energy back into the body, but it reflects it in the far infrared spectrum. That's the interesting quality that we're trying to utilize in this case. The capacity of germanium to reflect into the far infrared. So the question becomes, what does far infrared energy do for the body? If that's what's happening, how does it help us? Well, I'm here to say that there's a lot of amazing things that it does. In fact, there's a very nice body of literature available in the peer-reviewed medical journals that are available about how far infrared energy works. One of the most exciting things that it does is that far infrared energy induces what's called the nuclear translocation of a protein called PLZF. And what that does is it inhibits a particular functional protein called VEGF. VEGF is something I've worked in for years, vascular endothelial growth factor. Well, it inhibits that. And when it inhibits it, what it essentially does is it activates the nitric oxide pathway. And when nitric oxide is activated, vessels in the body that are affected actually dilate. And when they dilate, what can happen? Blood flows more freely. Blood flows to different and more places. Those cells in your body that have been receiving anemic or decreased qualities and amounts of blood are now being delivered quantities of blood that they hadn't earlier. So the blood is getting to better places, and with the blood is more oxygen. And then the other components that are part of the patch, the Korean red ginseng, the alpha-3-CMP, these elements are then carried via the blood to these cells, and so that every cell in the body is working better. They're getting better oxygen, better nutrition, but because there's more blood, as they go about their role as the biological machines doing their job, they create waste, metabolic waste, and that too is carried off. So the whole process of living at the cellular level is improved by this germanium, and that's the mechanism by which it works.
So, in addition to all of the other things that we've talked about with this product, it sounds like it is a great product for keeping us detoxified, if you will.
That's a great way to summarize what's going on. Exactly.
So, as I stated at the beginning, why would anybody ever want to not have one of these on? Because I think, one of the experiences that I've had is sometimes people treat the product like an aspirin. I've got pain, I put it on, the pain goes away. I put them in the drawer for next time. And it seemed to me very logical statement to say, no, you want to keep detox, you want to keep good blood flow, you want to keep the watchdog out there looking for the bad microbes, you need to be wearing this 24/7, basically. So, that's a nice big bold statement. Would you agree with that?
I think that when people take the approach that you're talking about and use it as an aspirin, they're really missing out. There's no question that by way of multiple mechanisms that it's that there's evidence that the strip mediates, controls pain. It does, absolutely. But if that's all you're doing with it, then you're missing out. Because what happens is, if you use the patches on a regular basis, there's a lot more going on, and that's kind of what we're talking about today. It's not just about pain. It's about having a day where you can think more clearly. The literature talks about it in many places. You're not only able to recall things better, but you're able to take memories and store them better. You're able to think and calculate things better. It's not just mental clarity, it's mental efficiency. How would it be to walk around with your brain working that much better? Think about it. It improves every aspect of your life, but that's not the only thing it does. It sets up the body to be in a state whereby nutrition is being delivered to the cells of the body so that they can function better. And as long as you've got each and every cell functioning better, you're setting up the body. If you're a healthy person, great, use it, because what it's going to do, it's going to maintain your health. If you're having struggles with health, then use it, because what it's going to do is it's going to set up a situation that protects your health, that augments systems that protect your health. It works on so many levels. The silver you mentioned. It's a wonderful, completely safe way of having, and again, to use your term, a watchdog against infection. Silver, if taken on a daily basis, through this patch, randomly circulates throughout the body and is available as an antimicrobial to fight little invasions or bigger invasions that happen from microbial species that aren't healthy for the body, for viral invasions that might occur. It's a whole picture that I'm trying to create of the reasons why you should be trying to use this on a regular basis and not using it to control one little thing in your life, one element in your life. It's effective in so many ways, and it has the capacity to improve your life in so many ways that I think regular use is appropriate.
Well, Dr. Adam, if I were listening to this for the first time, I think my question would be, okay, I need this. How do I get it? And of course, for those that are listening for the first time, please get back to the person who invited you to listen to this call with Dr. Adam Sacedo. What a great amount of wisdom and science you bring to our calls. We want to thank you so much, because when we've got something new, when we're the pioneer of something new, it's not unusual for people to be a little skeptical and wonder, what is this thing? Yet at the same time, the testimonials that are pouring in, the just body of evidence that is quite large on each of these ingredients really leads me to believe that we have in our hands the power to really help people all over the world maintain and increase the quality of their life. So with that, Dr. Adams, thank you so much for being here, and I want to thank everybody that's been listening in. And come back next week and visit us again for another day of power training. Bye now.